From globular clusters to the nebulae in the night sky, to the Milky Way in the night sky, to even seeing potential northern lights this month, the entire month of June for the night sky and astrophotography is something to really be appreciative and wary of. In today's video, I'm going to run you through all that the night sky of June has to offer and give you a little bit of background information on why this is important for you to go outside and image these things either with your phone, a telescope setup like I do, or just to witness any of these spectacles in the night sky for yourself if you've ever wanted to see these for the first time in your life. You'll see a lot of these sample images that I have gotten, and I will provide my top targets that I recommend for you to look out for this month in the night sky so you can go out there and enjoy it. This is the first What is in the Night Sky for June 25. Let's get into it. So to start, what is the importance of taking pictures of targets and things in June? Well, let me give you a little rundown of what's going on in the sky at this time. As you've known from watching my YouTube channel, spring is a time where the Milky Way is gone, basically gone, and you're looking into deep space, looking at a lot of the galaxies that the night sky has to offer in our universe. Normally, in the summertime when the Milky Way is out, we can't see these galaxies because they are covered by the dense star-forming regions in our galaxy. It makes it practically invisible to see some of these, and unless you're looking away from the Milky Way, you won't be able to see many galaxies. You'll see a few, but not many. Think of June as a transition month between the spring sky and the new summer Milky Way sky. This marks the return of the Milky Way season of astrophotography, as we like to call it, or just the summer of the Milky Way, because it really is the best time to go out there and observe the Milky Way. If you've wondered what actually makes up the Milky Way and how you really see it in the night sky, it all comes down to the dense star-forming regions. Because there's so many dense star-forming regions in the night sky, when the Milky Way is present, it appears that there is a big band stretched across the sky, and that, my friends, is the Milky Way. You'll notice that a lot of the spring targets and constellations like Ursa Major, the constellation of Leo, or maybe even Virgo is starting to set earlier and earlier as the sun goes down. This brings the rise of the Milky Way to around 10 to 11 p.m. and you're able to see the Milky Way finally rise above those skies, and it'll be out there all night for you guys to enjoy. Now that we know what's going on in the Milky Way at this time, a lot of dense star-forming regions do produce some really nice globular clusters, which brings me to my first point and first target you guys should look out for, which is Messier 13, the Great Hercules Cluster. The globular cluster in Hercules, known as Messier 13 or nicknamed the Great Globular Cluster in Hercules, is located some 22,000 light years away from Earth. Now I know this seems pretty far and all, but it's really not. Let me run it down for you. Something that's 22,000 light years away in the night sky is fairly close and in our galaxy. A globular cluster is a giant patch of stars that are condensed all together, which look like a giant fuzzy ball in space. What makes up this fuzzy ball is some 100,000 plus stars in this Hercules cluster, which makes it one of the brightest globular clusters in the entire night sky, and the brightest globular cluster in the northern hemisphere, which the biggest one is Omega Centauri. To look for this object, find a dark sky, look in the constellation of Hercules, and you will see it as a faint patch in the sky. Use a telescope or binoculars or even your astrophotography setup to photograph this spectacle. It's really bright, so you won't have much of a problem photographing it. You'll be able to see thousands of stars put together, and this is truly one of the best targets you can photograph in the June sky. Now let's shift a little bit towards the Sagittarius constellation, where we're going to take a look at some bright nebulae that you guys will be able to see. Fairly easy, even in a light polluted backyard. In the constellation of Sagittarius lies one of the brightest nebulae in the entire night sky at the heart of the Milky Way core. This is Messier 8, or the Lagoon, followed by the Triffid Nebula, which is right next to it. They're located some 4,000 light years away from Earth, and let me tell you, this thing is really bright. You can't miss this. When I've gone out and photographed a lot of things in the night sky, I have found this to be one of the first things that I ever noticed when I was first exploring the Milky Way with my small refractor telescope. Even locating this in a light polluted backyard is fairly simple if you know where to look, trust me. If you have an app called Sky Guide, you will be able to use your phone as a compass to locate the object. Because it's located in Sagittarius, it sits right in the dense star field of the Milky Way core, which shows you a lot of the different star colors and surrounding nebulosity. It's an emission nebula that highlights HA and O3 if you're referring to the Triffid nebula as well. If you're photographing this object, make sure you use short-ish exposures because the core of the Lagoon and Triffid nebulas are very bright, so make sure you have an HDR composition somewhere along the lines. Once again, you can use binoculars, a telescope, or even your smartphone to take a picture of this. You can even see it in a lot of wide field Milky Way shots. It's really bright. Because of this, it makes it one of the best targets to photograph in June if you're a beginner or advanced astrophotographer waiting to post your social media pictures to hype others up for the incoming summer season of astrophotography. Next, let's talk about one of the most popular constellations in the night sky, Cygnus, where there's a ton of things available for you to photograph. The Eastern Veil Nebula highlights one of the profound things and one of the coolest things ever in space that I have ever photographed ever, and these are supernova remnants. Supernova remnants are the results of a star explosion in space, and what it leaves behind is something truly magical and mesmerizing to photograph. The Eastern Veil Nebula is located 2,100 light years away from Earth in the constellation of, you guessed it, Cygnus. We'll talk a little bit more about one more target that I recommend photographing in the constellation of Cygnus this summer in the month of June, but let's talk about this one first. The result of this was a star explosion which shot a bunch of hydrogen alpha and O3 emissions into space, making a really cool mesmerizing lightning bolt-like detail. If you want to check out my image of the Eastern Veil Nebula that I photographed not too long ago, I just posted a digital print of it on Etsy, and it would mean the world to me if you guys checked it out, or if you wanted to buy a full resolution picture of the Eastern Veil Nebula that I photographed with my telescope. So check it out, link in the description. Though this target is really amazing and mesmerizing to look at, the colors will not be there right out of the bat. You might need a astrophotography setup to photograph the full extent of this object in its full detail. You'll need dark skies to see this visually and make sure that you know where you're looking in the constellation of Cygnus. It should be right underneath the constellation. In a dark sky though, you will be able to see this faintly with the naked eye, binoculars, and a small telescope. It kind of looks like an alien head if you look at it the right way, but on to the next target in Cygnus. My final recommendation for a target to photograph in the June night sky, it lies in the Cygnus constellation, and if you are an American citizen, then you might like this one because it's a little patriotic. This is NGC 7000, or better known as the North America Nebula, which is one of the brightest nebulae in the night sky, followed by the Lagoon and Triffid Nebula. It's 1,700 light years away from Earth, it's big, it's bright, and it's very easy to capture. The Cygnus constellation is known in the Northern Hemisphere as one of the best constellations to photograph deep sky objects or see them visually at a dark sky site. It holds some of the biggest and most popular nebulae in the entire night sky, and the North American Nebula holds some incredible detail in there. One of the highlights of the North American Nebula is the Cygnus Wall, which is part of the large emission nebula that makes up the North American Nebula. The Cygnus Wall looks kind of just like a wall, and it's been nicknamed that because of its wall-like structure that resides right inside of it. It holds a lot of vast detail of many nebulous regions. To find this shot, look right to the left of the Satyr region in the constellation of Cygnus, and there you will find NGC 7000. From dark sky sight, you should see this as a fairly bright patch in the night sky, and of course you can use your telescope or binoculars to photograph this. It's even better if you have a small astrophotography setup or just a DSLR and a tripod to photograph this, because you will not miss it. Now, as a special mention, I want to talk about the possibility to see aurora, better known as northern lights, across the entire world this month. The one to blame for this is the sun, who is currently in the solar maximum phase, which means the sun has massive solar flares which produce, if facing Earth, massive geomagnetic storms that you're able to witness not just from the poles but from across the globe. These powerful solar storms collide with our atmosphere, which produce the northern lights that are only really visible in upper latitudes, but when a solar flare produces a strong one which blows solar radiation into our atmosphere, it allows us to see a much stronger northern lights presence, which makes it visible in areas where it would not just be possible. These are classified in G1 to G5 scales, and we recently had one in October that was G5, and let me tell you, I saw it and it was one of the coolest things that I have ever witnessed in my life. To keep updated with any geomagnetic storms or solar flares, make sure you check out the NOAA solar storm forecast, or check out the website Space Weather Live, where it will tell you everything you need to know about the possibility of seeing northern lights in your area. It will also keep you updated on any sunspots or solar flares that have happened, and the strength of them if they can produce any northern lights potential. With all that being said, make sure in the month of June to check out the night sky, because it is truly an action-packed month. At least I'm hoping so, counting those northern lights in there. The amount of nebulae and the emergence of the Milky Way is something that you guys really shouldn't be missing. And I really hope you guys go out there and check out these targets that I recommended, because they are very beginner friendly and provide the great season opener to the Milky Way season of astrophotography. Of course, this is my favorite season to do astrophotography year round, and I can't wait to make a lot of memories along the way this year. All we need to hope for is those northern lights, so hopefully we get those this month. If you want to check out more of my high-resolution digital prints, I also released my Wolf Riot 134 image on Etsy, so make sure you guys go check that out. I will link that in the description as well. If you have any questions about my gear that I use to take any of my pictures, everything is linked in the description. I'll see you guys in the next video, and clear skies. Check out the skies this month.